Welcome to yet another episode with me of A Course in Miracles Explained with me, Kenneth Bob. Today I have a very, very special guest with me. Her name is Efrat Shalom. She is one of the translators for the Hebrew version of the course. Certainly part of my work is trying to bring out teachers, which a lot of people don't know about, ACIM teachers. And I think it's very, very interesting. We're going to have a very interesting show because we're going to hear about how ACIM is developing in the Middle East and in Israel with this show. Now, Efrat Shalom was born in Israel. She is the author of another book called Peace, or one of the editors, which features sentences from the course, which are in 3 languages, in English, Hebrew, and Arabic. And that's another very exciting thing we'll talk about in the show. And she is also the principal director, as I know it, for the Zman Midbar, which is a peace center in the middle of the Israeli desert. Something very, very different to what many course students are used to. So without further ado, Efrat, hello. How are you?
Hi, hello. Thank you. Good. How are you?
Good.
See you again.
Yes. So Efrat, just to start off, tell us a little bit about how you came to translate the course and how the course really came into your life. Because I looked at a bit of your biography on the translators page, and it's amazing. It's one of those stories that has so many synchronicities in it. So could you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with ACIM?
Well, it's a miracle, It's a miracle. I was always, since childhood, I had this inner guidance, or even a guide. I could say, I felt protected. And I had visions and out-of-body experiences and all kinds of spiritual experiences. And I was really, I felt very lonely in this world, as I think that many of us, before we meet the course, we feel. And I was really in a time of crisis, and I was praying. Day and night. I was praying really, really, really hard.
Wow. And how old were you at this time?
I wasn't so old. I wasn't so young.
Yeah, exactly. How young were you?
Around I was laughing is good. I was 29 at that time.
Right.
I was 29. I was with a child, and I felt that I have to move on, but it was really hard time, and I didn't know what to do. So I was praying, and I was praying day and night, and I was walking into the fields, asking God, what should I do? And then the answer was very simple and very clear. I always got the same answer.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer was, if you want to live, you have to take your child and leave the house. And if you want to die, stay wherever you are.
Wow.
And yes, it's in Hebrew. It's very strong. So this is what, after a month getting the same answer, then I had a vision that I have to save myself, save my life. And I said, okay, I took my child. I went to see a friend in Tel Aviv, and I said, listen, I have nowhere to go. Here I am. This is my, here I am with my child. Can I sleep here tonight? He said, I called him on the phone. He said, sure, come. And I came to the house, and there was a big table, wooden table, and there was a piece of matchbox, and on it there was handwriting of a member of the house, Gilad, and it was written, "I am a spirit." Remember this sentence from A Course in Miracles? I'm a
Yes, well,
spirit.
it says it many times.
Yes. And when I saw in Hebrew, it's Hineni Ruach, I saw this sentence and I said, wow, what is that? That's for me. That's for me. And I asked the guy there, he used to be my yoga teacher. I said, Ami, what is that? He said, oh, this is A Course in Miracles. And my son is doing it, and the teacher is Avi Asur. And I said, Avi Asur, I met him years ago at my friend's house, Phyllis Schlemmer. I know this guy, and this is A Course in Miracles, and I have to do it, whatever it is. I have to find out what is it.
Wow.
Because when I met this, I'm a spirit, Hineni Ruach, I knew that this is it. This is what I was praying for. This is what I was looking for.
Right.
And so, a few days later, I went and I went to see Avi, and he said, okay, there is a Course in Miracles starting next month.
I find it amazing that this is in the 70s, right? When the course was so new. It was in 80s?
It was in the 80s. It was already in the 80s. Course in Miracles came to Israel by Phyllis Schlemmer. That was in 77, 78. And she brought 12 students together.
Wow.
And two of them are Avi Asur and Ruth Asur, the two translators.
Right. They are the principal translators for the book.
Right.
Yeah.
And when Avi met the course, he said, this is it. He came from Kabbalah, he studied Kabbalah, and he was also teaching Kabbalah, and he was in the area, but when he met the Course in Miracles, it was a miracle for him. So he felt that this is something that belongs to his life, and he has to translate it. And at that time, it was, there were not many Israelis or people at all in the world that interesting so much in the spiritual path.
Yes.
Of course, there is Judaism, which we have, and Kabbalah. It's the mysticism of Judaism, but still, it was new. I remember when I was practicing yoga, it was like nobody knew about it. It was like, shh, don't talk about it.
Right.
Practice quiet in your room, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And so this is, but I was connected to Phyllis Schlemmer, and she told me about the Course in Miracles when it just came out. She went to the United States. She heard about it. She actually had the first, one of the first 500 copies of the book. And she told me, I was very close to her, and she told me they have found a new Bible. And I thought to myself, I was 18, 19, and I was asking myself, where did they find it? Did they find it in Qumran? This is where the scroll were found, the Bible scroll.
Right. Sorry, I'm confused. Did you come across ACIM after you had left with your child? Because you said you're 18 and then previously you said you're 28.
I heard about it.
Oh, you heard about it when you're 18. Oh, I see. So 10 years.
I heard about it, but when Phyllis spoke about it, she didn't say it's A Course in Miracles. She just said to me, they have found a new Bible. It was like a secret, She was like whispering a secret to me, and it was so precious at that time. I didn't even ask her, what is it? I just knew. I was just asking myself, did they find it in Qumran? Not knowing how close I am to the original thought, right? But and then I went away from Phyllis for a few years, and then I met her again after a few years. And when I met her again there, then I met Avi Asur at her place. She introduced me to Avi and Avi to me. And when I met Avi, I knew that this is a miracle.
Wow.
Like it was, it was like the stars were shining. It was like a strong connection, immediate connection. And only years after, when I came to my friend's house and I found this matchbox, and I heard from my friend that Avi Asur is involved with A Course in Miracles, I said, "Oh, Avi Asur, I know this guy. I know him."
Oh, I see.
As I
Sorry.
met,
Okay, I get it now. I get it now.
I confusing. I met him
No.
at
Makes sense now.
Phyllis' place.
Right.
So I met him before, and I really like him. I really was so connected to him and so loving him. So coming back and hearing about it was like coming home. And when I started to study next month, I started to study with Avi. And I felt at that time we didn't have the book yet. Avi translated with friends. Some parts like the workbook, so students could work with it. And I was very quickly, I was part of taking the photos of the pages and helping as much as I could. But I remember as a student, I felt that this is a gift for my life, and this is the answer for my prayers. As you remember, I was really praying hard for my life. So the next night, I come and I find A Course in Miracles. Wow. And I felt that someone is looking after me. So there is a big spirit, there is a big spirit, there is God, there is this family of spirits, and they are looking for me, and finally I am home. This is how I felt, because always as a child I felt that I'm not at home, and there is somewhere else, another place I belong to, and I don't know anybody from my family. This is how I felt, and all of a sudden meeting Avi, and Phyllis was the first one, and then Avi, and I felt at home. Wow. And later it was Ruti and Ken Wapnick that I met, and of course Judy Scott-Whitson. When I met her, it was like, it's a sister of mine. So it was really feeling so much at home. Wow. My brothers and sisters, and so when I started to study it, I felt such a relief knowing that God is love and only love.
And did you grow up in a Jewish background? So did you?
Yes, in Israel, everybody's in the community, everybody's Jewish. So it's not, we study the Bible in a very early age, and we study about the Bible and the history, and my grandfather was a great rabbi in Germany. He used to have, he established a school for rabbis that came to study at his university for rabbis from all over the world came to study at him. Wow. So Judaism is very strong, although we didn't practice at home, but it's in the roots, it's sure. Like praying is in the roots, it's in the neshama, it's in the spirit, it's in the neshama, it's part of you. Yes.
But did A Course in Miracles then conflict with what you in your Jewish kind of background?
Not for me not at all. If someone is someone that does not know A Course in Miracles within can say maybe something, but I have it's not a conflict at all. And actually it supports because in Judaism we have the basic is love thy brother as thyself, or in Hebrew we say ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, is this is the basic love your brother. This is the basic. This is Judaism, and this is a Course in Miracles.
Yes.
This is a Course in Miracles.
How did the, because obviously the figure of Jesus is so central to all of this, isn't it?
You know, for us in Israel, first of all, it's not so central.
Okay.
It's not so central, but and I would like to talk about it, because in Hebrew, at first, I remember in the first time, it was strange. I remember conversations with Avi and with Ruti, and I know that Avi felt uncomfortable with it. And for me, I feel very comfortable with it. See, Jesus, his Hebrew name is Yeshua, salvation, for me, Yeshua, and this is a Hebrew name. He was Jewish. His disciples were Jewish. I believe that we were his disciples. We were walking in the desert, following him, following his way of his path of studying and learning Judaism. It was like at that time, 2,000 years ago, we had lots of cults here. We had the Zealots, we had, I know the Hebrew name of it. So we had the Essenes, we had Tzdokim, we had many of them. And each part, it's like parties. And the different parties, each one is choosing his own way of translating what is Judaism, what is loving God. How do you love God? How do you worship God? What do you do? So Jesus' way, Yeshua's way, was his way of love and miracles and peace. And at that time, there was a big chaos in Jerusalem, and with the temple and with the parties, and it was a war between brothers, Jews who fought, because they did not know. Each party thought, how should we treat this situation? What should we do at this time? You know, the Essenes in the desert, in the Judean desert, they said, we are the sons of light, and we are worshipping God by praying and being baptized in the water of the Jordan and in the Dead Sea, and so this is the area of water and desert and praying and writing the Bible and rewriting the Bible and explaining the Bible in their own way, and being in seclusion, right? And this is the way they worship God. This is the way of loving God for them. And there were others not too far. It was all in this area of Judea, the desert of Judean desert, the different parties, and some said, we are going to fight the Romans and save Jerusalem, and some were struggling for their life, and the different parties. So Jesus was showing his own way, the way that he believed in, and so it's part of Judaism for me. This is Judaism: loving God, loving your brother, love thyself. See, what we say about the holy moment, the holy
instant,
encounter, and the holy moment, right? This is how you say it in English?
The holy instant.
Right, thank you. The holy instant and the holy encounter.
Right.
This is Judaism. We say in our prayer every day. We say, "You are holy." We say to our God, we pray, "You are holy. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הסלע."
Wow.
You are holy. Your name is holy. And holy are the people who pray for you, with you, together. So this is Judaism. It's not different at all. So what we have here in A Course in Miracles, what I love the most, if you ask me about the chapter I love the most in the text, is the history. Is chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Yes, where Jesus says, the history was not as you write it down. The disciples did not understood me.
Right.
And I told them that they will one day. And they could not be, I'm translating now from the Hebrew to English into a conversation, but there is this history.
Yes.
There is this history, and this is something that I emphasize. I give it a big lesson in, it's a whole lesson in the class, also about our history. First, our history.
Yes.
And we also, because so many things were done to the Jewish nation in the name of Jesus. And he was us, he's part of us, he's, one of our leaders, one of our rabbis, one of our teachers. And so many, because in his name, by his name, so many, there is so many pain. Pain has been...
yes, a lot of suffering.
All the suffering, right. All the suffering. And so I take this subject of our teacher and I ask people to see what we project, what do we project on him, and that we must forgive him. And as we know, we always forgive ourselves, right?
Right. We forgive him because he hasn't done anything.
Right. And it's always our projection. But this is really a big subject in Israel. It's a big subject. Yeah. But I was once at Ken's seminar, and also Marianne Williamson and not Marianne, but Beverly Hutchinson, and I saw that they use a lot the name of Jesus. As Jesus says. Here we say in Hebrew, yes, to our students, we say A Course in Miracles says. So because as I understand it, the subject is us. How can we love? How can we be who we are?
It's really ourselves talking, the bigger part of ourselves talking back to our small self.
Right. So this is a great help of a great teacher.
Yes.
And as I heard once from Judy Scott-Whitson, she told me, one student asked at the class, why do so many Jewish people study this course? And she said, we got a second chance. Yes. So it's a good answer, and it's a very touching answer for me. It's a really touching answer, and I feel it. I feel that yes, we did have a second chance. I do believe that we had the Messiah. The nation had the Messiah, and we missed it.
Yeah, and again,
but
it's
studied at that time.
Yes, Yes,
right?
because certainly, and we were talking a bit before the show, and we were saying how, it's very interesting how many principal characters who were involved in the development of the course were Jewish, right? I
Yes.
mean, Ken Wapnick is Jewish, Judy Scutch is Jewish, Helen Schuckman was Jewish. Was Bill Jewish? No, I don't think so. What?
No?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, again, it's this
Yeah.
very interesting. Well, not to make Jewish people special, obviously,
Right.
because
We
we're
are
all
not
just
special.
we are
No.
all aspects of Christ. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you is that have you read Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard?
No, I didn't. No, not yet. Not yet.
Right.
But I heard about it. I heard a lot about it.
Yeah, because it's so much. There's a lot of stuff about Jeshua, in the book,
Uh-huh.
and it's
Now I should go and.
It's fascinating.
Yes.
It's fascinating, the links. So, Efrat, we were talking about the desert. We were
Yes.
talking about the desert, and to me, it's I watched one of the videos, and I suddenly have this sense that what you were saying about the desert is a very mystical place, isn't it? And it's no coincidence that Jesus came from that place. I mean, it's a place of it's a very introspective place. It's very barren, and it allows for a lot of solitude. So tell us a little bit about the desert, and
Yes.
and why you chose to found your center, Zman Midbar, and what you do in the desert. Tell us a little bit about the desert.
Yeah. Oh, well, first of all, I invite you all to the desert.
I would love to come.
It's yes, it's the energy is like it's like the first energy of creation. It's there's so many places people did not put their step yet over there. It's so empty and bare and silence, and you can feel the holiness of creation there. Something like that. You really feel it. It's so. It's really and the silence is so deep. And our center is Zman Midbar. It's in Judean desert, the same desert of Jesus, where Jesus was with the Essenes at that time in Qumran, and it's the same desert where David went to for seclusion to write the book of Psalms. It's the desert of the Jewish cults where the Bible was written. It's the same desert of Jerusalem desert. It's one desert, not so big, and we choose this place because we were drawn to this place, and I can tell you that not too far from the place, there is in the backyard there is an ancient writing, rock engravings.
Wow.
Rock engravings, and it's written there. My husband found it one day, and he's walking, he was meditating, and all of a sudden came this light and the voice, and the voice, he was just following the voice, and then he saw a big rock, and it's written there in ancient Hebrew. It's written, I'll say it first in Hebrew.
Sure.
It's El Ya Chai Betochi. El Ya is God, the Ya. God Ya is the God of the desert, of the rain. Our God, one of the names of God. El Ya lives within me.
Wow.
And this is 2,000 years ago, maybe more. So there are evidence of life, of the community, the Jewish community, living there and practicing the same principles.
Wow.
Exactly the same principles. So this is and when we came to the place, we didn't know that. We were drawn to it. We said, okay, we want a place Judean desert, and this is also a place that Abraham, our father, the father of the nation, was living in this area, and Moses brought the nation of Israel also walking through this part of the desert. It was, we just felt very right for us to stay there, to be there. So this is how it came up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen videos of the center, and it looks amazing. And so tell us a little bit about what you do in the center. I mean, is it like a more meditative kind of thing, or do you guys, what do you guys do at the center? And tell us a little bit about the work that is done in the center, because I know there's a lot of there's things that you do with conflict resolution and between, and suddenly again, this whole thing about the Middle East, right? There's so much conflict there, and it has had conflict for 2,000 years.
There's so much conflict within us, and that's the conflict.
Yes.
Right, but I know this is the news that everybody hears, the news about the Israel conflict, and so yes. What we do is really we build the center so people can come, have retreats, study inner peace, as the Course in Miracles teaches us. This is our teaching, and we also we have workshops, we have studies there. We have also meetings between Bedouins. Bedouins are the Muslim nation of the place of this desert. And they live around us, and so we bring together Jews and Muslims, Bedouins, Israelis, and Jewish Israelis. We bring them together, and we sit together, and we speak about peace, and we study peace together. And also sometimes we have teachers course for the Bedouins teachers, so they can bring the peace principle of the Course in Miracles. Of course, I don't say that it comes from the Course in Miracles. I don't bring the book, but I do bring the principles of love and trust and compassion and all.
Yes, you bring that energy of the Course. Yeah.
Yes, of the miracles, and I teach them how to become teachers of God. Yes, and without really studying deep the Course, but learning these principles. And we have also meetings of women, Muslim women, and this is just to help the community to support the community, and also to bring the two
cultures,
nations, two cultures, right? The two cultures, to bring them together, and just being together, eating together, sleeping with under the same roof, it brings so much peace.
Yes.
And yes, and one of my, I really wanted to have some sentences of Course in Miracles in Arabic, because this is their language. So I asked my friend Khulud Barakat from Jordan. I asked her to translate some of the sentences of peace sentences from the Course in Miracles into Arabic. So now we have the three languages, not too much of it, but something that they can understand and hold and look at and look within. Yes.
And it's very significant, isn't it? Because from my knowledge, the Course has not been translated into Arabic yet.
No, not yet, right?
And this book that you have, the Peace Book, is really the first kind of introduction of ACIM to the Muslim world, if you
yes, to the readers of
Arabic, exactly.
Yes.
That's
Arabic, yes.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. And tell us a little bit about, actually we didn't cover the translation, like, you working with the translation. What was the translation process like for you? Like, translating it, because I know to translate it, all translators, it's a very personal experience, isn't it? You have to understand it first, and then be able to put it in language, in your own language.
Yes.
So it must have been a very personal, intimate process for you.
Well, it was. I came to help with the translation. Later, first Avi and Rudy started, and a few years later, I joined them. And my part was reading Avi was translating into Hebrew, and then I was reading the Hebrew translation, and Ruti was looking at the English, and so we were always, checking each sentence, each word, each paragraph. We could not move on to the next paragraph or to the next sentence until we understood it.
Wow.
Now, understanding it is not understanding the sentence, but understanding what does it mean to my life. And before you ask about Jesus, Yeshua, and I remember sitting with Ruti, and where Yeshua is asking us to forgive him. And I looked at Ruti, and Ruti looked at me, and we said, Ruti, okay, we must go through it. He's asking us to forgive him. Let's do it.
That's so cute.
We had to. We couldn't understand we couldn't understand it unless we went through it.
Wow.
Because it was for us. At that time, it was for our life. To understand it, to go through it, and to bring peace to ourselves with it. So we sat together, praying, forgiving, and then he's saying to us, hold my hand, I will lead you. And I remember this time that I came from out of Ruti's house, and I'm walking to my house. It was something like 20 minutes walk, and I'm just holding Jesus' hand, and I felt so much love. This was a translation, it was for us to bring peace into our life. We had to discuss every part of it. We couldn't just, and if we did not understand something, we sat, we call the Shekhinah, we call the Holy Spirit. We pray.
You call it Shrina, the Holy Spirit's called Shrina. That's beautiful.
Shekhinah. Yes.
It's beautiful.
We call the Shekhinah. And we pray and we ask for answers. And always we got direct, precise answers. Always very, always. Yes. So this was the process was. Now I can look, at all these years of working with translation.
How many years did it take?
12 years.
12 years.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was the 4th translation coming out, and there was lots of work also with Ken Wapnick.
Yes.
And we had a professor working at the Hebrew. The Hebrew is so, the English is kind of biblical English.
Yes.
Right?
It's Judeo-Christian, yeah.
Yes. So is the Hebrew. It's a beautiful language.
Yes,
really
beautiful language.
Excellent translation that Avi and Ruti.
But you guys weren't. So this was in Israel. You did all the work in Israel. Were you in the States with Ken?
No, Avi and Ruti went to the States to meet Ken and work with him at some parts. And Avi did spend a few years in the States studying and also translating there, being near Judy, translating the course. Yes. And we got the copies sitting at home in Tel Aviv and going through the pages and studying. It was wonderful. It was so, I remember these days as full of light and guidance and prayers and lots of forgiveness. And this is actually how I became, how I started to teach the course. Because it was, for me, it was studying the course.
Yeah.
It was a healing for me. It was really, I appreciate it so much, being part of it, being part of the team, and being given the permission to work with it. I'm still so grateful for it. Yes.
Well, I'm sure Spirit. This is all planned. Obviously, none of this is a coincidence. All of us have
It's good that we don't know the future plan. All right, so we have to study and to do our inner work and work hard and do it. The outcome is beautiful if we do our part.
Yes.
Good that we don't know. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Efrat, on that beautiful note, we're just coming up to 50 minutes here. Are there any last things you'd like to share with our listeners, our viewers?
Well, let me think. I did not. I would like to tell the world something about our students. Our students, the Hebrew students, are very dedicated students, very loving, and they do make a change in Israel. They do make a change in the world. There is a big community. We have many students studying the course. And I would like to remind us all that the part that we take in our inner work is supporting the people that are surrounding us, the next generation to come, and that we are only part in this chain of teaching, of studying, of we are part. Here is, our life is happening now. We are doing the best that we can for our life, for society, for the world, for the next generations to come. And I would like to invite, in the name of the A Course in Miracles community in Israel, I would like to invite everybody to come to Israel. We love guests, and really, if we can join together, maybe even have a lesson together. Today through the internet it's very simple.
Yes, absolutely, and
it would be great, and I appreciate very much all the prayers around the world for peace, and peace in the Middle East, and peace in Jerusalem, and peace to all, peace in the world.
Yes, peace to all of us.
Yes, peace to all of us, and I thank each and every one of the students of the course and students of spiritual path in all ways, always good, and bringing peace to us, to this planet. Yes.
Efrat, thank you so much for this interview. It's been an amazing hour.
Thank you so much, Ken. It has been a pleasure, and we send you peace from Jerusalem.
Yes, hopefully I'll be over. You know, I really want to go. It's
Please come. Please come.
there's a
You're
pull towards it.
invited. You have a house here.
Okay, that was Efrat Shalom from Israel, and I will put links to Efrat's center and her books on the bottom of this page. So do check it out. I hope you enjoyed this hour. And do leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about this, if you've enjoyed this, and also do subscribe to the channel. So it's Ken Bok here, and I had Efrat Shalom. Bye for now.